All right, everybody, for the first time in over 2 years, we are back to a 909 session, and we welcome the Greeting Committee.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
How's it going? Good?
They're out of practice, too. Everybody's like,
It's
ooh,
okay.
can I talk? Is it okay? What's happening? There's people here.
You can make noise, it's allowed.
A lot of people are probably aware you are in town finishing up a tour, your own headlining tour, the final night, Saturday night, part of the Bridge's 20th anniversary concert series at the Uptown, correct?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I think so. I
Yeah?
better be.
Yeah. What are you guys going to be doing immediately afterwards? Not talking to each other for a week, sleeping for a couple of days?
Sleeping for a couple days, but we're going to celebrate together directly after the show. We've got a friend DJing a little get-together for us, so we'll celebrate and then we'll sleep for a while.
So what's it mean to actually be able to finish up a headlining tour in your hometown?
I think that's the best and only way to do it. Hometown does it best.
Obviously, you guys have been, 8 years? Are we going on 8 years as a band?
7, 8 years, yeah.
And of course, just those high school kids trying to play some music in somebody's basement. It started that way for a lot of artists. However, you guys have really taken it and ran with it and become very successful. 3 EPs, 2 albums. The new one is Dandelion.
Dandelion, yeah.
It's got some great songs on it. We've been playing it, and we can't wait to see you perform live. How much of it's new? How much of it is the older stuff? And I know you guys have some big plans for the show as you wrap up that tour on Saturday.
Yeah, gosh, how much of the set is new stuff? I think there's a decent amount of new songs, but I think, everyone wants to hear the old stuff when they come to a show, so we try to please everybody as best we can.
So obviously you guys started as big music fans. You had dreams of playing music, of getting to be out amongst your friends. They're coming to your shows, the whole thing, and it actually happened. Do you guys still pinch yourselves? Does it seem real?
I think there's a level of really transparently just like disassociating from all of that because it's so surreal to acknowledge that people would spend 3 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon with us. That's wild to us. We really appreciate it. So there's a level of keeping our heads down, but also I think we're all individually working on acknowledging when something exciting happens and allowing ourselves to celebrate and then getting back to work.
Is it weird or is it cool when you look out in the audience and you see the people you know? Like when you see a teacher that you used to have or a neighbor or like some friends and their parents or something. Is it kind of, huh? Or is it like, oh yeah, they're here?
When it's my parents, I'm like, oh, don't make eye contact. When it's teachers, maybe I'm like, okay, this is cool. They're remembering me being, a little butt running around high school, messing things up, and now they get to see this. It was really funny when we played Llewellyn's, back when Llewellyn's was around. I had a teacher who came by and she was like, well, you didn't tell me you're good. Because I left her class every Monday to go to voice lessons. I'd skip out 10 minutes early, and she was like, what kind of parent does that? And then she was like, well, people tell me all the time they want to be baseball players. I don't think they're going to go do it. I'm like, thanks for believing in me, Mrs. O'Brien. I appreciate that.
Oh, got the name call out.
Got the name call. She'll love it. She'll love it. We're tight.
So were your parents completely supportive the entire time, or were they like, all right, we'll give you a little bit of leeway? I mean, and this is for all of you because you started so incredibly young that you want to support dreams, but you also want to be realistic so that you're not crushed by them too.
Yeah, my senior graduation, I got to give a speech, and I called my dad out really hard at it, and I feel bad. I still look back on it, and he's like, thanks. But he's been really supportive. I mean, all of my parents have been supportive. I think they just wanted to look over contracts and whatnot and make sure we were staying safe and happy. But I mean, Brandon's mom drove the rental bus around all the time. Like she was driving the tour van up until she did it for a while.
17 or something like that, we switched over.
Yeah. So she was doing that for a while, and then we've rehearsed at Brandon's. We most recently, when we were in a transition period in the pandemic, we were in Pierce's parents' basement for probably all of Dandelion. For the most part, writing that record was a lot of it in Brandon's parents' lake house or Pierce's parents' basement. So they're very supportive of us.
Well, and I know that was one of the things you had said, that in 2020 you were planning on taking the time, writing the album, really kind of working through it and perfecting it, and then bam. Did it make it easier? Did it make it harder?
It made it easier to write a record because there wasn't this pressure to have it delivered so quickly. Mm-hmm. So I enjoyed it. What about you guys?
I felt the same. It gave us time to work on our craft.
Yeah.
It was hard in the beginning, though. We were trying to separately upload things to like Dropbox or Google Drive, and they were great at it. I'm not great at it, so they really pulled the weight during that part.
Were you guys coming up with the same ideas, or was it interesting how incredibly different your ideas were that you were putting in Dropbox?
The greeting committee is compiled of all of our disagreements. That's our catalog. All of us disagreeing with one another.
That's kind of real life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why does everybody drive the same car you do? I'm scared of myself without you. I'll change my ways for a few days if it means you'll stay. I'm filthy, creepy, clingy for you always. If you go, can I go with you? If you leave me, can I leave me too? I'm afraid that I might need you. If you go, can I go with you? If you leave me, can I leave me too? I'm afraid that I might need you. If you leave me, can I leave me too? I'll never say your name again if you don't want me. Don't want to lose you, don't want you to lose me. And ain't it funny how nobody's laughing at the way you circle the deep end, trying to get you but you won't say nothing. Baby, say something, baby, say. If you go, can I go with you? If you leave me, can I leave me too? I'm afraid that I might need you. If you go, can I go with you? If you leave me, can I leave me too? I'm afraid that I might need you. If you leave me, can I leave me too? Lost in waiting, can't eat. I just sleep days on days end. Baby, call me when you get this. Lost in waiting, can't eat. I just sleep days on days end. Baby, call me when you get this. Baby, call me when you get this. Baby, call me when you get this. Baby, call me when you.
Ladies and gentlemen, greeting committee.
Thank you, guys.
Is it so nice to hear applause? Like you're not in the basement right now, you actually have people around you.
My ego says yes.
I bet that was hard though. You know, as a musician or a comic or any kind of performer artist, I wouldn't say you get validation, but you get a response from people when you're in front of them with your art, and I can't imagine how difficult it is to have not been able to tour or to not share music with people, kind of to try it out live. Was that something you guys even considered, where you're like, this is what we're doing, we're happy with it, and we're going?
Yeah, no, we didn't get any of that. And honestly, that was a really big switch for us, because earlier on in our writing, we were kind of always on this perpetual timeline of playing songs before they were out. And then there was a shift and a really hard cut for Dandelion. No one heard those songs live until recently.
It's a great album.
Thank you, appreciate that.
For anybody who hasn't seen Greeting Committee before, they're going to be in for a treat. Of course, you are wrapping up your headlining tour coming up this Saturday night. It is very much a relationship between you and your fans, I would say. And I know a lot of it has to do with kind of growing into your own and really becoming even better musicians and artists. But I think one of the best compliments I saw when I was getting ready for today's interview was that someone said, and I want to quote, "They make you want to start a band with your friends."
Oh, that's
And
so
I thought,
sweet.
what a great way to sum up watching you perform live. Because again, if you haven't seen them before, you guys just have fun.
We do have fun. We have a lot of fun up there. It's really interesting, though. I love hearing that comment, because we used to get that all the time when we were younger. Like, what's it like touring with your best friends? And we're like, we're not best friends. We really are pulled together. I mean, now we're a family, if anything, but we really are pulled together by our love for music. And I think this unspoken chemistry that even we can't really pinpoint exactly, but it holds us together.
You talked about band therapy there. You have been very open about mental health. It's something that you talk a lot about or sing about or write about on the new album. And as mental health is something that is finally being talked about a little bit more openly, are you seeing that reception from people?
I mean, the Greeting Committee fan base has always been filled with people who are very vulnerable with us. And so I think I've always felt responsible to be vulnerable in return. That's not always the easiest thing to do, but it has certainly created the atmosphere that I want it to create. I want the Greeting Committee to be known for being a welcoming space and being a safe space, and I think we really prioritize that, and we can't do that unless we are doing that work on ourselves as well.
I was going to ask, are you guys excited to be kind of finalizing this part of the tour? I'm sure you have plans to head back out in the not too terrible future. Which part do you look forward to the most, or does it depend what you're currently doing?
Oh gosh, I mean, I think that's probably a different answer for everybody. I'm looking forward to writing again, which is something that's typically not at the forefront of my mind. I think performing normally is. I always joke that I'm the worst person to be a professional musician, because I'm such a homebody, and I don't really love the studio. I kind of like writing. It depends on the day, and I don't like touring in the van and being in the van, but I love performing. So it's this one thing that I love so much that makes everything else so worth it, that performing and being able to connect with people and with the audience and with the crowd. So the pandemic definitely made that difficult, where it sort of took away my thing that I cling on to. But it did allow me to discover what I do love about being in the studio and what I do love about writing, and kind of hone into that.
When you go back to writing, like when you prepare for your next one, do you guys ever go back to old songs, or is it like eyes forward? Or do you go back and work on it? Or
It's typically eyes forward, but Wrapped Inside of Your Arms was a song that was written years and years ago. Wrapped Inside of Your Arms was written probably a month after I wrote Elise, and Elise came out in 2017. So Wrapped Inside of Your Arms, I didn't want it to make the record. The guys convinced me to put it on the record. I was being pretty petty and stubborn and was like, this is a breakup record. She doesn't get this song, she gets all the songs. So I'm glad that I came around to it, though. I do enjoy that song.
Is Hands Down still fun for you? I know that song changed everything for you guys, so I'm sure it's kind of bittersweet, but I wasn't sure.
That's the thing, is like, to say no would be unfair and would feel unappreciative, and I don't want it to come off that way. It's not that it's not fun. I think it's that it just is so different than everything we did after that. I think it solely depends on if I'm gonna have fun, is if everyone else is having fun. And honestly, the energy in Kansas City, you guys are cracking me up back there. They're like, we're gonna throw stuff at you. We're gonna make this fun. The mosh pit at Uptown Theater in 2020 was like insane for Hands Down. So like, that makes me love that song.
Was that the hazmat suit?
No, that was at Loud and Local Fest. That was different. Yeah, no, this was like the most insane mosh pit I've ever seen at a greeting committee show, for hands down of all songs. So I think it really solely depends on what people are doing almost to make each other and to make us laugh. And I think that's funny that we all kind of have the same attitude of like, here's that song we've heard a million times. So I enjoy it.
Well, I know it's obviously a big stepping stone for you guys. And I was curious, it did really change everything. Is it as fun? Like now there's a lot of business that goes along with just creating music. So when you started, you're really young, you get to hang out with your friends and you make music and it's all about being creative. But now there's a lot of business side to it as well that I know you've spoken quite a bit about.
To be honest, that kind of went away pretty quickly. We were really fortunate to be launched into having the option to pursue this as a career, and hands down is really to thank for that. And it did switch things really quickly, and I think that's why it was really hard to be 15 and 16 navigating not only friendships with one another, but business decisions. And while I think we have the same set of morals as a band, there can be different avenues for that and how they display, and not everybody agrees with everybody all the time. So I think now we've almost circled back to prioritizing, at least I would like to prioritize having fun doing everything again, and sort of going back to like the childlike state of what is it about music that is so connecting. But I think that we only get to be in that position again because we have tried as hard as we have to create a sustainable business.
I would say worked hard.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
That's what I would say. I'm going to ask you guys to do another song here in just a second, but first I want to know, what are you listening to right now?
Oh gosh, this is so hard when I don't have my phone. Oh, I am listening to Charlie. Are you listening to Charlie XCX? Do you know? I'm listening to Charlie XCX. It's so good. I'm entering my era. I'm trying to have a hot girl summer for anyone who knows what that is. You can all have a hot girl summer. We can do it together. So Charlie XCX is definitely what I'm listening to.
And when you guys are writing, do you listen to artists or do you just kind of black it out?
I'd say we listen.
We listen.
Yeah.
You do listen to other music?
I feel like we all pull up songs of like, I want to do something like this feeling. Try to not rip it off too hard.
Would you mind performing another song for our
We
live
would
audience
love to, yeah.
at the
This is
Crossroads Hotel?
Bird Hall.
There's a lack of color. Benny says that I'll be fine. Can I see you in a sweater? You said by then we'll be alright. I guess I'll scream down the highway and sweat through the hard parts of July. I guess I'll scare my parents and searching ways for me to die. Heard your voice in my head, thought it meant you loved me again. Made friends with my pity. She says she can't stand me. I don't wanna be in love. All it ever got me were reasons to hate me. I don't wanna fall apart. All it ever showed me is nobody knows me. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I think you took the wheel when you left. I look sick, like all the time. I just stare out the window, a scarecrow to my own life. Now I see you with strangers. Maybe you are one. Maybe you've always been. See, I love in the movies. I always cry
ladies and gentlemen, the greeting committee. Our first live 909 session since the beginning of a pandemic. We couldn't find a better artist to join us at the Crossroads Hotel. We are actually going to open it up for questions from the people who are here with us. I do want to ask you real quick, though. I wanted to ask you about your involvement, you and Brandon both, as the arts of mentorship that you did with Enrique from Making Movies, who we obviously adore as well. And I want you to talk a little bit about that, if you guys don't mind, just because I think it's such a fantastic thing.
Yeah, no, we would love to talk about it. So Brandon and I, it was really a blessing for us to join the Artist Mentorship team. I believe it was right around when the world was shutting down. And Brandon had been a part of it even earlier than that. And he had always said, you guys should come check this out. And I kind of brushed it off a bunch. And then I finally got invested into it, and it's just the greatest program happening here in Kansas City that I really think a lot of people are missing out on. So Artist Mentorship empowers young people through music to write their own success stories. So we work with youth 12 to 18. We're not too gung-ho on that, but we take them through what's called the Rebel Song Academy. So it's a 12-week program that walks them through a curriculum that Brandon really helped cultivate, and we also do an ignition camp, which is in the summer, and that's 5 days of whatever level you are of musician. You could have never touched anything. You come hang out with us, and we're going to write a song, and we're going to make it awesome. And so we really strive to serve underrepresented youth in Kansas City and to show people that you don't have to leave Kansas City to be a part of the music or the arts community. And we were really lucky to be, firsthand examples of that. We started this when we were 15 and 16 and have stayed in Kansas City since, and we love Kansas City, and it'll always be home no matter where we end up going off to. But I really want to pass the mic to Brandon real quick, because Brandon literally built what's called The Lab, and it's the recording studio out of Inner Urban Art House for Artist Mentorship. There's photos and videos of him physically building this space, so I'm going to pass it to you.
Hello. I want to say thanks for everyone coming as well. Really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. I'll talk real quick about the lab. It's a project that we've been doing with Artist Mentorship where we wanted to build out a recording studio, a professional recording studio for our students. With recording, it's just a very, very expensive endeavor to do. A lot of equipment, a lot of skills that you need to know, and just building out a room for that. It's difficult for kids to have the opportunity to work in a room like that and record their music and listen back to their stuff coming off of speakers. So we kind of wanted to break down that wall, because there's always been gatekeepers in the recording industry. So this is a space that is free for our students to come in and surrounding community to come in and record their music in a professional space that's been built from the ground up. We just started recording a bunch of music this month, and I'm super excited because there's a lot of beautiful art coming out of there. So I'm excited for you guys to hear it.
Well, I just want to say thank you for doing that, because I think it's an incredible service to Kansas City, and especially those kids coming up, like you said, who don't have access to those things. So thank you. And I know we had talked previously before we started our session about a fundraiser that you are doing for the show.
Yeah, so for anybody who wants to enter to win, one raffle ticket is $10, and we're doing a sound check party where you can come hang out with us, listen to songs that won't be included in the set list for Uptown Theater, get a signed Kansas City poster. First prize winner gets a gift card to Fox and Pearl, as well as a gift card to Mills Records, who have both been supporters, just the way that Crossroads Hotel has to not only the greeting committee, but to Artist Mentorship. And so, like I said, all proceeds will go to benefit Artist Mentorship, because we do offer our programming for free, and we're only able to do that through donations and grants through the city. So I think we're up to $500 raised so far for Artist Mentorship, and we'd love to raise even more. We'll pick 15 winners. Everyone will get to bring a friend that wins, and we'll get to have a fun pre-show hang. But if you feel inclined to donate to Artist Mentorship, it's artistmentorship.org/donate, and we push that heavily because we really believe in that project and believe in what it's doing for Kansas City, and not only for young artists, but as Brandon said, other Kansas City musicians as well.
I'm actually going to let you guys ask some questions now as I step aside before we get another song from the greeting committee. Michelle is going to hand you a microphone if you raise your hand.
My question was Since going back to live music, not only the differences you guys had, but did you notice a difference with the audience as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's a very fair level of fear of safety. I think that's fair to say. You know, our fan base is, for the most part, a very cautious fan base. And then when you throw in some people who aren't as cautious, there's a little bit of hostility that can happen there amongst them. And then, you know, we try our best to make sure everybody feels safe all the time, but there can be a toss-up on what's the best move to make. So it really varied by city. There were cities where you never saw anyone's mouth, and then there were cities where nobody was wearing a mask. And there are very different energies, and it's very hard to balance wanting everybody to be safe and also just like the selfish, like, I miss you guys singing and seeing that. But everyone did a really good job of like emoting their eyes and their bodies. Yes, still having fun. But yeah, there's definitely been a shift in audience, and I've noticed it even with other shows I go to, just around Kansas City in general. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I think we were just so grateful to be back that we were like, we will take whatever we can get. We want to see everybody. Yes, thank you for that question.
Hey, I wanted to ask, first of all, what is your favorite venue to play in Kansas City and why? And then also, what is the most memorable show that you've played and why? And if you can't pick a favorite because you feel bad about picking a favorite, just pick one that you liked at random.
My dream venue to play would be to sell out Midland Theater. That's like my big goal here for Kansas City. But my favorite that we've played so far, the Record Bar show we did was just like really insane. Yeah, very fun. I mean, Uptown Theater, selling that out in 2020 was like such a big milestone for us, and I loved it. But yeah, Record Bar, I can't even, 2017, 2016, something like that, and everyone was throwing marshmallows and whatnot at us. I mean, it was crazy. 17, got it. Annika and Abby are on it for me. They were there. They were throwing stuff at us. We got to open for, it was like Death Cab for Cutie and Churches. And Death Cab for Cutie is my favorite band in like the whole world, like really up there in my top 3. And we just sucked. Like, I can't even sugarcoat it. It was like the worst performance ever. We all look back on it and we're like, oh my God, I think you broke a string like multiple times. Yeah. But that wasn't even why. It was just, I'm not blaming it you.
Hello, I'm a big fan of like music videos and how artistic, the songs go with the music video. Are those something you enjoy doing? Are you a big part of how the music videos happen?
Yes, I love getting to creatively direct and just in general direct our music videos. Every once in a while, I'll pass it off to Brandon, and those are our most like out of this world music videos. And I think it's very distinct who did what. And it cracks me up. We've got our Don't Go music video that was just in front of a green screen and goofy, and then the Make Out music video where Brandon is Jeff Bezos in a little Ramazon Speedo because it couldn't be Amazon, because we appreciate Amazon music. But then anything that's like somewhat serious, it's like I want my moment to act. So I'm like making myself cry and being dramatic and getting my makeup done, and I'm brushing my teeth for an hour. Yeah, my gums hurt really bad after that music video, actually. And then I love in our music videos, there's this like little hidden gem of Pierce, I think, winks in every single music video if you look for it. He's always got his little winking cameo. Yeah, thanks for that question.
We really love how your music fit into To All the Boys I've Ever Loved Part 2. Can we look forward to you in more soundtracks for movies and shows?
You should harass our sync team for that, and we can hopefully get ourselves in some more movie and TV. That was a really crazy experience. We loved getting to be a part of that. So thank you for that compliment. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we definitely are up for it and would love to be a part of more sync opportunities.
I have a question.
Oh boy, pressure's on.
So you talked earlier about how you don't really like being in the van on tour, and I think a lot of people don't totally realize how arduous it is to just be like going from city to city. So I guess my question is, what is the worst part of that?
Yeah, I am really lucky where I no longer get volunteered to drive. Shout out to Brandon and Pierce, do a lot of the driving, which I would imagine is probably the hardest part. I don't think people know that it's like you go. So, for example, I'm like trying to think of our schedule. We get on stage at 9:15 p.m. We play until 10:30. From there, you have to unwind. You probably want to talk to a few people, so you talk to a few people, and then everyone goes to, well, not everyone, they go to load in the van, which is really appreciated. While they're doing that, I'm winding down, packing my suitcase, getting everything together. You're probably not getting at the hotel or Airbnb until midnight at the very earliest. Even then, it's probably 1 a.m. And then you're going to have a long drive the next day, so you're getting up at 7 a.m. or earlier sometimes. I have to beg to like sleep until 9 a.m. And then typically you want to throw in the fact that someone's probably sick with something, whether that's just like allergies or a cold, whatever it may be. So then multiply that by like 30 days. It's really exhausting. I want a bus so badly, so buy tickets to our show so we can try to get a bus. I think that will make a really big difference because on the mornings where we're able to wake up in the city we're playing, it's such a different experience getting to really connect with the city that you're in, getting to go to local coffee shops. Pierce is really good about taking recommendations and hauling us over there. We really love to thrift, go thrift shopping, and just hang out. It makes a world of a difference. So yeah, it is very taxing on the body.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question.
All right, I think it's time for a final song, if you don't mind.
Awesome, yeah. This is How Long?
How long until the novelty wears off? How long until you can't stand me? How long until I say something wrong? How long
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Greeting Committee.
Thank you.
Addie, Brandon, Pierce, thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us here at the Crossroads Hotel. Thank you to Jeremy for being an incredible host. Thank you to all of you for coming to our first live in-person session in quite some time. Dandelion, the new album, well, it's still mostly new, wouldn't you say?
Mostly
it's been
new.
a few months. It's out, it's available, it's on Harvest Records, and of course, wrapping up the big tour this coming Saturday night, part of the Bridges 20th anniversary concert series at the Uptown Theater. Go to the show. You will not be disappointed. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it. Thank you to Crossroads.